Today we're going to be playing as the Ukrainia, the greatest country in all of Eastern Europe. Many people overlook this country and say, they're kind of weak. They're not the strongest. They had that funny Chernobyl, but Ukrainia is the greatest country on the face of the European continent, and they will soon prove that to Vladimir Putin and his evil regime. The people of Ukraine are strong with a larger economy than Vladimir Putin, as well as a larger tech percentage than Vladimir, which gives us a very good advantage over the Russian people. Starting out, we're going to invest in an equal amount to our population and our economic growth, as well as a lot of income tax, and we'll put a couple into the research as well. Why not? We'll max those taxes out and we'll begin the great investment in the economy. Now, so far, Ukraine is rising very quickly on the economic scale. We're going to become the greatest economic force in the entire world, most likely. Lots of disease, though, is sweeping across the country, breaking our stability, which is not very good, as we lose population now, which is not exactly what we want if we want a developed country. So we're going to now work on our population and really rebuild this population in Ukrainia and just overall build an empire to stand that test of time. I think some good relations to have would be with Romania and Poland, two of our, pretty close hand rivals right here. It'd just be good allies to have, good partners in the region. That way we can have a little bit of a buffer state between us and some of these larger powers over here. Obviously, as our population goes up, we don't have as much to worry about. But I think Ukraine is going to have to make some quick attacks on a neighboring country right here. Alright, Ukraine now has a small fighting force capable of taking over Moldova. This will be where the war really begins, right here in Moldova. A country that did not expect an invasion from the Ukrainian Empire, but as many countries have, tried to predict Ukraine, many have failed in the past, and Moldova is no exception to the rule here today, falling quickly to Ukrainian troops as Moldova quickly falls to the Ukrainian Empire. Now, obviously, we have a lot of troops, which we do need because trying to have a good enough, troop amount to really keep us safe against the Russians, because we never really know what the Russians are planning. They're sneaky. They like to do some tricks on us. So we're gonna have a couple different troops along the Russian border, just little units to kind of blockade Russia, blockade their plans. That way we don't have as much to worry about. Alright, we're now under attack by Hungarian forces on our western flank. This was to slightly be expected because I kind of saw this coming. Ukrainian troops can now advance into the Hungarian state, and most likely we will get a swift victory here over the Hungarians, depending, nothing bad necessarily occurs in all of this. Take Budapest, roll in, as the Hungarian forces just swiftly capitulate. But now the Hungarians have been swiftly defeated in conflict. Ukraine, now with a new extension of land for the claiming. Obviously, this is a very ugly border for the Ukrainian people. That is okay, because what we'll do is we'll do something that I like to call a pro-gaming move. We formed Ukraine, Romania, but we're just gonna rename to Ukrainia. Actually, you know what? That is Ukrainia, because then we'll be Romania and Ukraine. So now we're Ukrainia. Ukrainia has risen up a powerhouse of global economics. I like the flag too. The flag we have is very based, very cool. Obviously, we have to go back to our beautiful Ukraine colors. We'll go to something like that. That's a good color. I like it. After heavy decision making, I decided to kick our Polish brothers out of the alliance after their major defeat against the Russian state. I've also taken some of my Polish brother's territory, which he kindly surrendered to me uh, via an ultimatum where I said I would invade him if he didn't give me these lands. So this now leads me to my next invasion, which is up against the country of Slovakia, mainly just to kind of, fix the little bit of border gore we got with our western border over here, and just overall to shrink the amount of land we actually have to defend against a foreign enemy. But Slovakia could not win the war, obviously. Time caught up with them, they didn't really stand a chance against us. And now we can fully annex them into the Empire of Ukraine, a new little region to add to the greater country that we're building up here. Obviously, Russia is somebody we're going to have to, figure out what to do with at some point as well. At long last, it's time to make the attack on Mr. Vladimir Putin himself. Obviously, he destroyed our friend over here in Poland, which is a, disgrace to our country. We're going to make swift work of Putin over here in his Polish acclaimed territory. Obviously, taking over Krakow and other places in southern Poland will be pretty strategic for our victory here. As for Crimea, it is going to be a complete re-annexation of the territory into Ukraine, as well as many attacks on, these Western Russian troop divisions that are probably going to be lining the streets here in a very quick while. Obviously, my fortifications are built up along the border. I could have probably waited to attack, but we can always just build up more troops, and that was kind of my plan, was make an attack and have a backup amount of troops ready just in case. Obviously, we're making swift work of the Russians, though, on all sides, which is good for our country for many, many reasons. Obviously, in the event that, Russia attempted a counterattack or whatnot. Many more Russian regions have fallen to the Ukrainian forces as we are slowly moving on to take over the rest of Crimea. A little bit of a battle that has taken a little bit longer than I would have hoped, but overall victory should be secured here pretty quickly and swiftly for our forces. Yeah, something like this would be a pretty hefty and reasonable demand from the Russian people, obviously giving us Crimea back and many more territories. Russia now in a very vulnerable state as our country has expanded by quite the large margin here, taking control of very important ports and other regions of the country. Obviously, we formed a federation with Romania, we retook Crimea, we stole Western Russian territory as well as Belarus into our country. Some Polish land has joined us, as well as the nation of Hungary and Slovakia. Overall, big dubs for the Ukrainian people. Probably going to end it here. Thank you guys for watching. Top economy, top population, and top tech level. Peace.